welcome back. Okay, look, I know what's going on right now with the Ben Simmons thing. Apparently the Pacers are coming out as a contender for Ben Simmons. Apparently the Pacers are a sleeper team. Maybe he's going to go to Indiana. You know, maybe Malcolm Brogdon and like TJ Warren and another dude is going to be the next Philadelphia 76ers. Whatever. At least it's not Ben Simmons. That's not the point of this video tonight. Tonight, my video is 3 expectations for this 2021-2022 season for Philadelphia. And I just want to jump into it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the family, join the community, do all that king caboodle, do you know, like the video. Alright. I'm trying not to talk about Ben Simmons because he's clearly not in Philadelphia's plans, but of course my number one expectation is I'm just really excited to see how Tyrese Maxey goes to work, man. I put a poll out on Twitter and I said over under 15.5 points per game for Tyrese this year. It literally went 50-50. That's crazy. Now, that's obviously with the expectation that he starts. And I think he will start, given the fact if Ben Simmons is still on the team and he's just not getting minutes, obviously, Tyrese is the next dude up. But I think if Ben Simmons is traded, there's a 99.9% chance we're probably receiving a point guard in that bundle, and they're probably starting over Tyrese. Is that a good or bad thing? I think only time can tell that, but I'm really excited to see what this team is going to look like with a real point guard. With a real point guard, guys, like a guy who's going to be able to just like shoot, and even if it doesn't go in, at least he's going to like catch it and just shoot it, you know? That's going to be so exciting. It's going to be exciting for so many different reasons. One, obviously, I want to see what Tyrese Maxey looks like if he is that guy. And two, Joel Embiid. I mean, Embiid has never had a point guard in his career, except his rookie season, I guess. Yeah. No. Yeah. That he had a point guard that could able to spread the floor out a little bit. I mean, I think Embiid could have an MVP this year. If he stays healthy and we have a real point guard, I think this year's the year that Embiid is an MVP. MVP. I don't know. It's hard, dude. It's. I've always struggled saying that. It's easier to type out. With Ben Simmons off the court, Embiid is not going to be in a clogged paint. He's going to be able to post up at free will. I mean, that man's going to be able to do whatever, whenever he wants. And it's just going to be an easy bucket after an easy bucket for him in the paint. He's going to be able to stretch the floor out whenever he wants to, not when he has to, when Ben Simmons is, in the game. And we're just going to give him more opportunities. And a pick and roll with Embiid and a point guard who can shoot the ball is better than a pick and roll with Embiid and Simmons. Because if I have to watch another low post pick and roll, when all Ben Simmons had to do was just shoot a mid-range jump shot, Ben Simmons didn't make Embiid a better player, and the fact that Embiid catered around Simmons and was able to still put up, 29 points a game around that is phenomenal. And I think for once, if we build this team around Embiid, I think you're going to see a legitimate MVP year out of him, and I'm really excited for that. That's what I'm expecting with a team with a real point guard now. Number 2, what is the bench unit going to look like with George Niang now and Andre Drummond? I think that George Niang's a very underrated signing. I love it, and I love it for a couple of reasons. First of all, he has shot 40% or better from 3 over the last 3 seasons, and that's really, really great. And we haven't really had a stretch 4 in, 2 years. Mike Scott was supposed to be that guy, and I don't know where he's been since the playoff series against Brooklyn that we won 4-1 like 3 years ago, but the dude has been MIA. Mike Scott was so bad for Philadelphia. Like, he was literally just out there running. If you know, you know. And it was a liability to have Mike Scott on the court because he could go 25 minutes without touching the basketball on either side. And I'm like, dude, what are we paying you for if you are literally a ghost out there? So having George Niang out there is going to be a monster improvement. It's going to be something that is just much needed in the modern NBA landscape. You need a guy who's going to be able to stretch the floor out at that power forward position, at that small forward position, and just be able to be a knockdown shooter. And that's what Niang is, but Niang also is more than a knockdown shooter. He is very crafty. He is a very high IQ player because he lacks athleticism. I mean, this man cannot jump. Woody Harrelson could have been replaced by George Niang and White Man Can't Jump, White Boy Can't Jump, whatever the movie was, I don't know. Yeah, that was a bad joke. George Niang is a dude who is creative with the ball in his hands when he's, headed to the paint. I think he's a smart decision maker. He's an underrated passer. He's a good basketball player. I'm excited to see what Niang brings at the 4 for us. I think it's a pretty good pickup in the beginning of the season, see how it pans out. And then, when the deadline comes, assess how Niang's been, assess how Drummond's been, assess how the bench unit has been, because I think, honestly, when the deadline comes, our problem is going to be the backup 3, as it has been for years, because Furkan Korkmaz, guys, is just not the answer. I don't know how many years we have to go through this project, but he's just not the answer. I know you guys love him. I don't. Sorry. Which leads me to Andre Drummond. I think the Andre Drummond signing is awesome the moment I realized Ben Simmons is not going to be on the team. I really like the idea of bringing in a 28-year-old former All-Star who has a ton to prove. And we did that on a veteran minimum contract. The way to win in the NBA is to get a couple of stars and then max out value. And what I mean by that is you need to get a bunch of guys that play better than their contract pays them to be. It's what you see in Brooklyn with Blake Griffin and Bruce Brown and LaMarcus Aldridge, just not big contract guys who are outperforming their contract. And what Andre Drummond is going to do is exactly that. It's what Dwight Howard did. It's why Howard was such a good signing. We gave him the minimum that you could give a player, and he came out and he gave us, $8-9 million a year type performance. Andre Drummond's going to be the same, but I honestly think Andre Drummond can be a little bit better than Dwight Howard was for us. Not to say Howard wasn't good, because obviously he brought a lot to the team, and defensively Howard is going to be much better than Andre Drummond will be for Philadelphia. But when it comes to rebounding, hustle, even a little bit of low post scoring when we desperately need it out of a bench unit guy, Andre Drummond is going to be that guy. Andre Drummond is a proven all-star before he is honestly arguably the best rebounder in the NBA. I mean, he still is that guy. Andre Drummond, given an opportunity, can be a great backup. And what I love so much about it is it's a 1-year deal, and he's only going to be here for a year, guys, because this is his opportunity to show the rest of the NBA that he deserves more money than he was going to get this offseason. Absolutely come to Philadelphia and prove to be that guy. Let us be the vehicle for you to go get paid. That's awesome. It just means you're going to work harder, and I'm all on board for that. I think that's awesome for both parties. And he's going to be a great guy when Embiid doesn't play. Knock on wood, hopefully nothing serious happens to Joel Embiid this year, but, in all likelihood that he misses a few games, just whether it's load management, rest, or just a strain or, something. Andre Drummond is a very above average backup center to come in and give you starting 5 minutes and really put up 15 rebounds a night, because that's just what he's done in his career, and I love that. And my last thing I'm looking for this year is the dynamic between Matisse Thybulle and Danny Green. And what I mean by that is Danny Green's 34 years old. He had a really good year last year. I mean, he led the NBA in three-pointers from the corner. He knocked down his shots when we needed him to. He hit 40% from three, and if not, it was close to it. Danny Green was everything we asked for him to be last year. And, a lot of people are saying the reason why we lost that Atlanta Hawks series was because Danny Green was out. I mean, he's a veteran leadership type of guy, and he brings a lot to the team even when he's, not on the court at the moment. But how much more does he have left in the tank? How much more does he have that he can be as good as he's been over the past couple of years? I don't know. And Matisse Thybulle could genuinely blossom this year. And I'm not going to say he's going to come out and be an offensive stud, because I don't think he ever will be. But if he can show, just a 36% three-point clip, that's going to get him more minutes than Danny Green probably. And so my concept of the dynamic between the two of them is I wonder how long Danny Green holds on to that starting spot in the starting rotation. I think probably best bet is all year, but first of all, you don't know what's going to happen. And you don't know how good Matisse Thybulle is going to come out. And you don't know how whoever we add to this roster from losing Ben Simmons, you don't know who's going to play well with who and what you need and how to fit. I think there will be at some point this year an argument to be made that Matisse Thybulle should be put into the starting 5, if there isn't one already. I am a huge fan of Matisse Thybulle. I think him on the court is it turns our defense into the number one defense in the NBA. I think Matisse Thybulle is a legendary, generational defender. I mean, he did a season last year where I want to say his per 36, I think it was his per 36, he had 2.9 steals and 2.0 blocks. And no guard has ever touched that in the NBA's history. No guard has ever touched that. So the dude knows how to play basketball. I mean, the dude really knows how to play basketball, especially on the defensive end. I'm interested to see how that comes along. That being said, that's my video. Tried to stray away from Ben Simmons as much as possible. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Peace out.